Hi, this is William, and this is the third devlog in the Unnatural investigation space. Alright, so this is be a little bit smaller of an update. Most of the rest of them probably will be too. I'm just gonna highlight different features as they get added and as we go along. Alright, so everything here has remained the same. Talk more about that single player later. Alright, so one of the new things I added was option to essentially change your skin. It doesn't really affect anything in gameplay, it's just that you look like a different person. Mostly just changes the head model, but you know, it'll give some variation when you're playing, so not everybody looks the same. Alright, we'll jump back in here real quick in it, and I'll show you some of the other stuff. Alright, nothing's changed here. I did change the main primary weapon to a different gun that fits kind of the loadout of the characters and stuff. Alright, and I did update the effects for when you shoot the gun and when it hits something, so that nice little blur effect there. Got some little rocks and that's the concrete and then the wood, metal. Nothing major. Again, that's probably mostly cosmetic there, but I like things to look good, so figure why not. Kind of gives an extra bit of coolness. Alright, so that was been updated. What I've been working on too, at the top right, you can see the frames per second. Obviously, it's a lot in here. The main goal is before the game's even playable in single player or multiplayer. I'm shooting for 30 right now. It's like the first pass. Eventually, you know, going 60. You know, try to get to 62. But that's the first goal for the actual graphics part of it. Trying to work out a way to keep the game looking nice, but still play good, especially since it's multiplayer. But that's kind of the goal. Trying to work to get to 30, and then we'll move on up. Alright, so I did add in the new pop down here. And essentially, you know, if the clues won't specifically say corrupted blood or whatever, they'll be like closely to it, but they'll still vary a little bit, just so you have to do some thinking. And then once you think you have it, you'll put it here. And it did this so that, you know, when you go in the creatures section, you know, it's a lot of creatures to go through. You have to look through everything. So, you know, you can find the clues, drop it in here. And if you got it right, then you could just straight go over to the werewolf. And then I'm going to add a lot more info about the werewolf, so it'll be more lore and stuff instead of just having, it won't have the clue stuff in here. But you'll get to go here and you'll be able to see, like, oh, it's silver bullets, or, you know, Wendigo, it's fire bullets. So that's one of the changes to make it easier for, you know, when you get closer to the end, figuring out what you're dealing with. Let's see. Oh, I think this is just where I was testing blood. Yeah, did add a new blood one in there as well. That's pretty cool. Alright, yeah, that's pretty much those things I wanted to show. Alright, now I'll just show off a little bit more of the cave. This is our small to medium map. And if you look at the top, running about 30 frames. Get lower when I go in here, it usually does. Let's see, I think I do have it on high. Right now there's only, like, you know, it's minimal changing, and it's not just texture quality, it's pretty much the overall quality, as well as the density of the grass and the distance at which you see the grass. Not very important on a level like this. But also, I'm still working on tweaking all the settings, so for high, low, and medium. I mean, if you're running anything in a 30 series GTX or RTX, whatever, you're running anything in that, you should get better frames. I'm actually running this on two 1080 Ti's. But yeah, so this level is pretty good. There's a lot of light. Light does take a lot of it drag it down a lot if you don't have it a certain way. You see I'm dipping down below 30 frames. Like I said, I'm gonna get it above 30 for consistency, and like I gotta do a lot of work with some of the reflective lights here, but there's the body spawn, right? That's cool. For the most part, though, the lights really get it. I'm gonna have to do some more tweaking on the lights, but and maybe some LOD changes. But all in all, I do like the cave, how it turned out. At least the layout of it so far. Again, this one is the last one that we've been working on, so obviously it's nowhere near as polished as the other two. But none of them are up to the polish that I plan on getting them to. But it is running, above 30 for most of the part. And there's a lot going on, particles and all that stuff. That. But this is pretty much the cave one. Now, the dynamic for this one changes a bit, because when you're playing with the team, it's not as close as the house. So your teammates may be way over here, and somebody may be down there. So this map's gonna, kind of add a different feel for the game. Now, one other thing that we'll do is once the game is in early access, get feedback on specific level layouts and see what people enjoy the most. We might be doing a lot more of these specific levels that are kind of not just a house or something. So another idea we're working on is some dungeon-like levels. Few ideas we've been throwing around too is, your game does have demons and things like that, and part of the lore could be, there could be some levels where you actually go through like a demonic portal kind of thing, and then maybe half the level's laid out like normal, and there's a portal takes you to like another part of the level. So there's tons of little ideas like that definitely add new things. All depends on what everybody, what the feedback is. Like I said, there's not much else to really talk about. There's been a lot of code change behind the scenes, working on streamlining a bunch of stuff and cleaning up the code. It's kind of like a refactor time, something that try to do each major version. And when it goes to early access, it's going to be version 1, 1.0, and that's how we're going to run our versions. I mean, some people do 0.0 or whatever, but our first early access is going to be 1. What I can show you here is you can see the grass and texture quality. Actually, this one I gotta update that. But it's running pretty good for being all high. And the last house. The reason we wanted to have some different stuff. The house is cool though. I mean, it's a little bit area around the house too. Oh, I did add a fence. I had talked about I didn't specifically want to add a literal fence. However, it was either that or invisible walls, or either I could have did rain, but for now, the fences ain't too terribly bad, and that way, you know, mulch mindlessly. Like all the things you can look for will be within this, so it's another reason that it works for now. So that'll continue to be like that for a little bit. But yeah, if I go down to low, you can see a big jump in everything, like no fog, you know, a lot less grass, render distance a little bit shorter. Does get an increase on frames. So yeah, what the goal should be is, well, the goal is for us is like low should, you know, be like way above 60 frames. Medium should, you know, hit between 50 and 60, and then high should never go below 30. Like that's what we're shooting for. I mean, obviously we want to go for 60, you know, at all times, but 30 is the baseline, at least while we're in early access. I mean, here it's give or take, it's the house. The house really sucks down some frames. So I know there's a lot of work we're gonna have to do with that. But yeah, so that's just a small video. Try to do a bunch more of these as we get new content in the game. Keep adding some more screenshots and things like that. Soon I'm gonna do some screenshots and some videos with some more people playing at the same time. All the networking is good to go, but I just haven't shown any of that yet. So yeah, again, if you like what you see, have any comments or anything like that, just wishlist it, push your comments here or on the Steam, well, maybe not Steam yet, but on the website that we have linked to Steam, and there's a Facebook link to Steam as well. So yeah, thanks again for taking a look.